and welcome to Next Gen Money Talks. My name is Mark Dooley. Today we're talking money and mindset, and appreciate you guys for joining us here today. It's gonna be exciting. So we go through and talk about this. Just want to put it out there really quick. A lot of times we talk about credit on this show. We talk about debt elimination. We talk about like the practical, tangible things that you do with money. But last week I did a show on how basically money, hating to lose was just as good as wanting to win. That hating to lose is actually better than a desire to win. And I got a lot of positive feedback from that. A lot of people reached out to me and said, hey, that was great. I like that you talked about the emotions and the mindset of money more so than just the practical, the tangible results, because that's a lot of us focus on. We focus on how do we get more money in the bank, how do we pay off more debt, how do we make more, how do we keep more, how do we plan more, the different things that we can be doing with our money. But we don't focus on the inside, the internal things, which is your mindset and also your emotions. And so I want to take a couple weeks here. This is week 2 of talking about mindset and just dive in deep about this. And we talk about lottery winners that make their fortune and lose it, athletes, actors. These people get the money in and they learn how to make the money, but the mindset hasn't shifted on how to keep the money. And I had a client reach out to me this week and talk to me about what to do when you're trying to make more and take an income, take a living off of the money you're making. This client worked in the stock market. But what does that look like? How does your mindset have to shift? And the mindset shift that occurred for this guy as we were talking was that it wasn't so much that we needed a return on investment, we needed a return of investment. For those of you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's called ROI, return on investment. You take what you put in and you will see what's the rate of return that you can get on it, and it's how much you make on your money. But if you work as a banker, if you work as an investment person, a lot of times the question is not necessarily the return on my investment, it's my return of investment. How much of my investment is going to be at risk in the deal? And that's the first question we want to really look at. And this is the mindset difference on we want to talk differently on there for today. They went to Ford and they said, hey, if you lost everything, how long would it take you to make all of your money back? And he said, yeah, if I lost everything, that'd be terrible, but I'd have it back in about 5 years. Because even if he went broke, everything he has, his knowledge, what he's built up, the connections, the people he knows, his network, his net worth, everything is all built up already that he'd be able to get back up and running. And part of that, I think that we don't look at too much on there, is the actual mindset. What did he believe about himself that he's going to be able to do it? Now, when I first started doing money coaching and being an entrepreneur, I was in a conference. It's actually in one of the Rich Dad conferences, legacy education conferences. Loved it, loved my experience there, learned a whole lot. But whenever you go to these educational events, these conferences, they always pull you off to the side and sit down and talk about their big coaching program and do everything. And when they asked me questions, I had a lot of the right answers. I knew everything. I knew the answers to say to them, and I was giving them the answers. But it wasn't the answers they wanted, because when I give them the right answers, it puts them in a spot where I don't need them. So basically, they said, well, Mark, if you know all this stuff, if you know where you're at, then why don't you have the results to prove? Like, basically show us that you have this, And they drew that out for me. I'll never forget this. They had a big sheet of paper, okay? They drew a little person right here. And they said, Mark, this is you. And then they drew a big picture of a person over here. They said, and this is who you could be. And if you hire us, we're going to take you from this to this. You think you're here right now, but you're not. You're actually here, and we're going to help you get to this. And so there was little Mark and big Mark, And I'll never forget my response. And I don't know where I come up with this. Like, this just kind of hit me at the moment. And it wasn't like prepared. I felt like I was in like a movie or something, because it was so well done. But I just said, no, see, you're missing it. You're seeing this as me because you're looking at my results, and you're saying this is what my results could be. And what I said to them was, you got it backwards. I'm actually this person. My results just haven't caught up to me yet. And then, of course, that rubbed them the wrong way. They're like, well, wait a minute, you can't say that. If that's who you are, blah, blah, blah. It went back and forth. And I just kind of stopped it. So I can't argue anymore about who I am and what things are. But I remember my mindset, and I was with some people at the time, and we went out for a meal afterward. They said, why did you say that? Like, like, how can you stand there in front of somebody who has massive success, who has 7 figures of success in the real estate community, and you who have no success in the real estate community, you have no success in business, trying to justify that what you're telling them is right, or what you're telling them they should be listening to you on? And I said, it's just something inside of me. It's something I believe about myself, and it doesn't come from arrogance. It doesn't come from egotistical. I'm not selfish, and I want to help as many people as I can as we go through it. But it goes beyond self-confidence. It boils down to knowing who you are. And this goes into your mindset. Is who do you actually see yourself as? When you look at the man in the mirror and you say, okay, this is who I am. This is what I believe about myself. What are those statements? Let's apply it to the world of money for a second. I run something called the Next Gen Budget Boot Camp. And one of the first things you do in the boot camp is you have to take the negative things that have been spoken over you about money, and we say break them off. If you imagine like they're on your shoulder, you have to like kind of just brush it off, shake it off, whatever you need to do to get those negative things off of you, so you can start building and filling yourself with those positive statements. And we use 4 positive statements. We say that I'm good at making money, I'm good at keeping money, I'm good at helping others, and I'm good at budgeting. That's a budget boot camp. So you got to have that budgeting. That's number 4. You got to have that in there. But these are the phrases that people need to speak over themselves. Now yours might be different. You might need to do something different, a little bit more custom to who you are and the path that you've walked. I worked with someone who had trouble losing weight, and they said, started working with them. I said, start saying, I'm a skinny person. Oh, wait a second. I'm not a skinny person. I'm way over. My BMI is huge. Whatever. We're not gonna go into the details of that person. But that person did not have the results yet that they thought they should have. And so you get bogged down in this mentality of, wait a minute. I'm not a skinny person. Oh wait, yes I am. My results just haven't caught up to me yet. You might be sitting there right now and saying, your money's not where you want it to be. You're not bringing in the money that you think you should be, or you're not keeping enough of the money you bring in. And so you're looking at your results, and you're saying, man, if I could just be better, if I could just be better. And you realize, wait a second, no, you are actually doing better than you think you are. We just need to get your results to catch up to where you're at. And that's what we do. And that's one of the belief systems that I have huge heart for. I'll tell you, I really want to keep track of this. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to give you a made up statistic that 9 out of the 10 people that I work with are actually doing better than they think they are. I think it's 10 out of 10, but I feel like it's sure we can come up with some exception, something out there. But majority of the people that we work with are doing way better than they think they are. It's almost like never stepping on a scale. Like, if you think that you're 300 pounds, and you're like, oh, I'm a 300-pound person. I'm just a 300-pound person. And you never step on a scale and you believe it. Well, you might step on a scale and they realize, wait a minute, oh, I'm only 220, or I'm only 260, I'm only 280. No matter what it is, it's lower than you thought. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm actually doing better than I think I am. I can't lift a whole lot. I can't bench 200 pounds. And then all of a sudden, somebody just comes and puts some weight on and says, here, just try lifting that and see what you do. And you do a couple reps, you're like, wow, okay, I can do that. They say, well, you just did 220. What? I've never done 200 before. And what happens is we create these, some people call them limiting beliefs. Some people call them, law of the lid, the things that you put on yourself that stops you from getting out. There's a story out there about a flea in a jar, that if you put a flea in a jar and you screw the lid on, the flea will jump and keep bouncing to the top of the lid and bounce to the top of the lid. And the fascinating part is if you take the lid off, the flea will never jump above and beyond it. It will still be bound to it. You hear the story about the elephant. An elephant, when they're a baby, gets tied a rope around its neck, and it's being held with a stake in the ground and a rope around its neck. And it grows up knowing that no matter how much it pulls or tugs, it can never break that rope. It can never break the stake. So then later on, you see a full-grown elephant being held with just a rope around its neck and a stake, And you say, how does that happen? It's because there's a trained behavior, there's a thought pattern, there's a process that has occurred in its brain. Same thing with the flea, same thing with us, that we have learned behaviors when it comes to money. And so the first step is just breaking away from that mentality. It's breaking away from the thought that, man, I'm just not good at money. Man, I can't budget. Oh, I can't, I'm just going to be in debt. I'm going to work till I die. I hear that one so much. And back when I was in banking, I heard it all the time, and it broke my heart, because there's a certain amount of what I would call hopelessness in there, but it actually is hopefulness for the person. They're just hopeful. Like, yeah, I'm gonna work till I die. They have a plan. They have something they're working towards. And it was, I started using these phrases like financial freedom and working down this. And everyone was so, well, number one, those phrases are used a lot in like telemarketing schemes and pyramid schemes. And it's been so browbeaten down that it has been, like watered down, that like it's not real anymore to the average person. But there is something true to be stated for somebody who's able to do what they want, how they want, because they have the means behind them to be able to do it. And it's not the means as in they have a bank account with a big number in it, but they have cash flow, they have money coming in, and they're not needing to spend a bunch of time, bunch of money trying to just take their base needs and get them taken care of. I found that as I've grown as an entrepreneur, if I've got that base level of cash flow coming in, then I'm able to go and serve more. I'm able to do more. I'm able to help more and give back to where I want to give and do things out there in the world. It's the same thing. I wish I had the mentality when I was more of an employee of, it's not about my 9 to 5. That's not where I give back. I give back on my 5 to 9. So what I do during my day, what I do for employment, what I do for working, that's not where I give back. I give back in my weekends and my nights and the times that I have to be able to share. And it's been a huge paradigm shift for me. And what happens is, in that moment, and don't despise small beginnings. This is where my wife and I started. When we started the budgeting and we started doing the budget scoreboard and working through a lot of the concepts here at Next Gen Money Coaching, we started this about 5 years ago. Really ramped it up. We were doing individual money coaching at the time. We ramped it up and created systems and process over the last 2 years, and to the point that we run a monthly boot camp now. As we were doing this, it was never despise small beginnings. If I made $1,000 that month, I put $10 into the underwear drawer. And we're not classy, we're not fancy here. What are we talking? We're talking a bank envelope that you put $10 in. And I share these ideas with people, and I love it because some people get it right away. They're like, Mark, I get it. I started putting it away. I started putting $1, $10, $5, whatever. I started putting this little bit away, and it died to me. I never went and touched it. A lot of people have a savings account, but it's really just a checking 2.0. It's the sequel to your checking account, because anytime you get in trouble, you immediately go and just grab money out of it. And what happens is we never learn to keep money. We only learn to save money. We save it until we need it, and then we spend it. Save is just spending 2.0. But when we learn how to keep money, keeping money means that it doesn't leave us. It becomes seed money for future investment. It becomes seed money for future things. And what happens is we despise it because it's a small amount. Oh, man, I'm only putting $5 a week over that. I'm only putting $10 a week. I'm gonna tell you, there's a compound effect that can start occurring over that. And I started doing it with my daughter. It was right around the same time. 5 years ago, we started giving her $5 a week for allowance, and she could spend $2, she had to save $2, and give $1. So we just started training it that way and started getting her to think that way. $2 a week. Started putting it in there, kept it going, kept the money flowing. And, after a while, she got up to $300 in the account. And then we started teaching her what to do with that. Okay, we bought some silver coins, let her buy and trade some silver. And now she's all the way up to trading cryptocurrency. She buys and sells Bitcoin in the account. And, she's now up over $500 in the account just based upon $2 a week. And it grows and steadily goes. But what happens is the behavior is now in place that whenever she gets money, the first thing she thinks about is what is she going to keep? The mindset is there. The thought is there. The way that she processes and sees the world is all done through the lens of keeping money, not just making money. And I've kind of scattershotted everything here today because this is kind of the intro for where we're going to be going about the mindset and the money. We're going to talk more and more about this over the next couple of weeks, but I want to really dig in deep today about the different areas where mindset affects it. Thinking, I'm good at keeping money, I'm good at making money, I'm good at helping others, and I'm good at budgeting. There is a lot out there that we do not take the time to actually reflect in ourselves on. There's a lot that we don't take the time to realize. Why do I believe what I believe? Or even some of us don't even take time to think about what do we believe. We just walk through that path. And so that's my encouragement to you today. The takeaway, the key point for today. Take a minute and think about what are some of the things that have been spoken over you when it comes to money. What are some of the things that you have, whether it's been an ex-husband, ex-spouse, ex-wife, if it's been a parent or a teacher. Money is something that was rarely talked about as home. It's more caught than taught. And so we got to work through those things. We have to see, okay, what do I need to do? Who do I need to be? And changing that mentality. What does it take to be this person? Sorry, backwards on it. Instead of being this person, be this person, but your results haven't caught up to you yet. And then what's the plan that it takes to get your results to catch up? And I'm going to tell you, small steps in the right direction starts yielding great results. Find the small steps you can start taking today. If it means you start keeping 1% of your check, keep 1% of your check. That means you start paying an extra $5 towards debt, pay an extra $5 towards debt. If that means that you skip that cup of coffee every morning, you skip it one day a week, skip it one day a week. Find those small behavioral changes that you can start doing. Because I'm going to tell you this right now, you will never achieve an amazing level of financial success in this world until your joy from keeping money equals or exceeds your joy in spending money. Let me say that again. True financial success comes when your joy in keeping money equals or exceeds your joy in spending money. And that's my hope for you guys today. Find action steps, find ways to start putting this place so you can do good with money. What does do good with money look like? It means jobs and better jobs, raises and bonuses, positions and promotions, provisions and resources, checks in the mail, finding money, and debts paid off so that you have more than enough to dent the universe in the way that you were called to. Thank you so much for coming here. I appreciate you guys. If you want to talk about this, if you want to join us, and we have a couple different ways you can join with us. The first one is to do an interview. You can come on here and do an interview here with us, talk about what's going on in your life, talk about your business, things like that. We'd love to hear from you on there. The other one is just, send us a message. Let us hear how things are going for you. If you have a question about this, where are you at? We get questions all the time. We'd love to share them here on the show and talk about it. So send them to, it's right down here at the bottom, moneytalks@nextgenbudget.com. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Hope you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. Have a great one. Bye now.